Hello, beautiful, and welcome. Today's episode will cover the August 2026 eclipse season. It'll give details about what eclipses are all about, what the dates are that we need to look at, and how to personally work with these supports for our soul's evolution. I'm Jamie Ehrenberg with Idlewild Retreats, and this is my journey of following my intuition and becoming my truest self. If you caught the last episode that talked about the North Node moving into Aquarius and the South Node moving into Leo, you'll have a little bit more background on this. And if not, I'll put a link below the episode so that you can check in with that. But this eclipse season is a time for our soul's evolution, and it's like an accelerated time of our soul's evolution. And a lot of that is because of where the nodes are, and that is what dictates when we have eclipse seasons. Again, we just moved into the Aquarius Leo axis, away from the Pisces Virgo axis, but we're still getting a taste of that in this eclipse season. And that is supporting us to work with different themes in our own lives and on the collective level of how we can evolve to become better and versions of ourselves and humanity. Historically, with eclipse seasons, there was a lot of collective work that was happening. And so I love that we're moving into more fire and air that supports all of these other fire and air outer planets that we're experiencing right now. So we're going to feel a lot more of that shifting and that changing. This is the first time that we'll be working with Leo specifically in the eclipse season. Earlier this year in February, we had our first taste of an Aquarius new moon under this nodal axis. So we'll have begun to work with some of these energies. And if you think back about what happened in the beginning of February around that new moon eclipse, that might give you a flavor for what you're working on in the next 18 to 24 months. And we'll get more into the dates now. The first official event that is part of eclipse season is going to be August 12th, which is the new moon total solar eclipse in Leo. This is a time when we're going to not be doing as much of the seed planting for new beginnings, kind of manifesting in that way. What we're doing is letting go of an old version of ourselves that we've been carrying for who knows how long. And that's the South Node themes. We're releasing these ancestral, these karmic, these earlier conditionings, societal conditionings, and we're letting those go so that we can walk further and further along our soul's path into what our destiny is for this particular human lifetime. And with that, there's a new beginning that's truly starting. Again, those nodes just officially shifted, and we are going to get glimpses of what this new beginning is with this new moon, this total solar eclipse. But we have to make sure that we're starting out from the right cleared out place where we're no longer being some version of ourselves that isn't who we're supposed to be moving forward. With this version of us that we're no longer supposed to be, it is a part of our identity. And if you want to look in your birth chart and identify what house might be related to this, but Leo is, it is how we show up in the world. It is our external personality. What we're letting go of for this new moon is actually a part of our identity that just is no longer serving us. We can see it. And that's the big thing, is that we're able to identify this, see it, name it, and allow ourselves to begin the process of unraveling that part of us. These things don't happen overnight, as we all know. We have to do work consciously. If we are able to see what it is that needs to be changed, that is the first step to making that change. We can see it and then slowly start working with it. As long as we're consciously doing that, and there's all the different layers of our soma that we'll have to work with to do that. But it's really seeing and naming committing to making the shifts that is going to be what's really important for this particular new moon, so that we can become this beautiful new version of ourselves that we'll be really working on over the next 18 to 24 months while we're in this Aquarius Leo axis. That's all the way till March of 2026. Again, I really encourage you to go back to that other episode, and I'll put that link below. Next up is the full moon in Pisces that will happen on August 28th. And I already shared that this is the axis that we've been working with, that we've moved away from. But everything, like the rest of life, is not cut and dry in astrology. We are actually closing down what we were meant to grow into. The North Node was in Pisces, so it was what those gifts were, that expansion was, that allowed us to become more and more of our true selves. That this is our final experience in this go around with Pisces as part of the eclipse season. This full moon is a partial lunar eclipse, and it is really a time for us to solidify the dreams that we've been working on for the last 18 or 24 months. It is having that vision, feeling solid, having that future reality closer and closer to you. It is having the dream being able to be articulated in whatever way that you were working with that over the last 18 to 24 months. And this allows us to start from a solid footing, because honestly, when we're going through these nodes, it's always shifting. So the Aquarius and Leo part of us, we're going to keep shifting and shifting until those nodes are no longer there, but they've moved on. So for now, we're getting to close out with this full moon all the things that we were working on in terms of our soul's path and that dream for our future in this full moon that we'll experience on August 28th. And with Pisces, I also want to add that there is a lot of trust and surrendering and belief and faith in the divine. And so I just wanted to give those couple of extra descriptors in case that is supportive for you and what your future is looking like in this area. Lastly, how do we work with eclipse seasons? So eclipse seasons overall are a full 6 weeks, with a new and a full moon punctuating that. And in between those new and full moons are often where the most intensity is, because we see what we need to shift, and then we start working on that, even if it's just by bringing it to consciousness. And then we then work with the next lunation to help solidify where we're going. And so over the next 6 weeks, this whole 6-week period, you're likely going to be seeing a lot of things in flux. I personally am feeling like I'm at ground zero for so many things in my life. And I am using that Pisces energy to trust that what is meant to come in is going to come in, and what is meant to leave is going to leave. And knowing that I don't have full control over that, that I am an active participant. I can keep taking steps forward that allow me to see the next step, but it is not a full cooked plan, especially right now, and being so okay with that. So for you, feeling into what that might be like for you, what are you ready to just clear out? And if you want to look at your birth chart and look at the houses that Leo is in specifically, that might give you a good hint of what that might mean for you. For me, that's my first house, my identity, my physical appearance, how I work out in the world, and how people perceive me. So it's not so surprising that this is where this is landing, and this is part of the 0 point where I'm experiencing right now. And for you, it could be just your intuition alone knows what it is that you're working on. You're calling in a new job. You're, shifting into something else. You're calling in meaning versus a job. You're calling in new partnerships or relationships. All of these things might be what you know that you're moving into. And then I invite you to notice what it is that's part of you that you're already bringing to the table that actually needs to be released just shifted in your identity so that you can pick this new thing up? Is it that you need to let go of control more? Is it that you need to flow more and allow more surrender and trust in versus trying to really dictate exactly how things have to be all the time or what buckets everything needs to fit in? Honestly, I'm experimenting with a lot with that. Like, what does full time versus part time mean with work? What does working for someone else or working for myself mean? And not feeling like I have the answers, but that I am open and curious to exploring that and knowing that me putting parameters around anything is going to slow down what is able to come in. And it is definitely not trusting. The more that I am saying this has to be this or this or this, that means that I don't fully trust and I am not allowing what is potentially coming in for me to do so. If you are not already on my newsletter list, I really invite you to sign up. I always send out with every new and full moon practices that you can work on, mini practices that are something that could take 5-10 minutes that allow you to work with that specific energy and really play with and learn what it's meant for you, but not just staying in the mind, getting into the body. So I really do embodied astrology practices that I recommend in my newsletter. So I'll put a link below as well to sign up. And lastly, if you have been really interested in learning how to strengthen your intuition and your own knowing because of what your body and all these parts of you are talking about, really invite you to consider joining Attune for the next round if you haven't already. I am going to be doing a mini attunement session, so it's kind of a promotional sample event. That more details are also below, that I would love for you to join me in. Whether you have taken Attune or not, it's complimentary and an opportunity to really support and reconnect with our body, our nervous system, and our intuition. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing eclipse season, walking further and further along your soul's path. See you soon.